So many times I've wished that I had the formula that led to my success. We look back at all the times in our lives when we've succeeded, and particularly the big hits that we had. I know you've heard of like the one-hit wonders, in the 1980s and 90s, and even in the 2000s. There were a lot in the 80s, it seems. But these one-hit wonders, imagine if these guys had that formula to their success, and they could duplicate that success over and over again. Well, seems, based on what scientists have recently discovered, or a few university professors have discovered, is that there may be a formula to success. So go ahead and take a listen. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe to our channel if you like these podcasts.
The formula for success. There's a really interesting book that was written a little while back by a university professor from Portugal, Albert Laszlo Barabasi. I'm sure I am not pronouncing his name correctly, and the book is called The Formula. Now, here's the interesting thing. Why is it that some people succeed and have incredible amounts of success while others with equal talent and equal skill sets and opportunities do not? So in the book, Barabasi talks about several different reasons why this is the case. And he talks about two different primary principles, which I find really interesting. The first being performance. He talks about performance being a driver of success, not the only part of it, but the driver. But when performance can't be measured, and in certain situations, for example, he discusses the art world. How do you measure performance in the art world? Well, you can't. Can you say that Basquiat's work is better than Damien Hirst, or the other way around? You can't. So what is it? What is the algorithm, the predictable, repeatable algorithm that leads people to be successful outside of performance? And that's really a fascinating answer. In his case, he explains that the answer is network. And we talked about this in other episodes of this podcast, about how when you get in the flow state, but you also get in the part of your journey where the people who you need are attracted to you, are attracted to what my friend and mentor Stuart Wilde would call your energy, of everything that you're bringing to the table, of all the work that you've done, that you start to build your network. And this is so often the case. When I started Herbal Ecstasy, once I achieved some degree of success, other successful people became attracted to me, and I became attracted to other successful people. And as my network grew, the success of everything that I did grew. So network is a huge amplifier for success. It can be the driver, maybe not alone, although there are successful people that are successful just because of their network. There are what Malcolm Gladwell calls super connectors, whose job it is in life is to connect people. And I know people who are extraordinary at that. My friend Ken Rutowski, who started a super connecting organization here in Los Angeles called Metal, is a master at that. And he is a master at connecting. He's an ultra genius at many things, but particularly at connecting people. We call him the most connected man on earth. And through his network, we always say he's one phone call away, at most 2 phone calls away from anybody on the planet. And that's how he knows all the big movers and shakers. And he's spoken on stage with Carlos Slim, who was at one point the wealthiest man in the world, and with Bezos, and with all these top contenders. And he understands the value of connection, the value of building out your network. performance being a driver, meaning you can't just go out there and completely fake it. You do have to be able to come to the table when the people show up and they're attracted to you. You don't want to be a shyster. You don't want to be a person who really has no delivery behind all the talk. So you have to perfect your craft, whatever it is that you do. You do have to have a passion for it, a drive for it. You do have to have a desire to make it succeed. You do have to have that grittiness, that ability to say to yourself that you will be disciplined and you will get that thing no matter what it takes you to get there. You might not have to do everything to get there, but you have to be willing to do that. But if you want to amplify it, if you want to have this spectacular level of success that is unparalleled, that will leave the competition behind in the dust, you need to have a network. You need to cultivate relationships, friendships. And there's another great book that's out there that talks about how to build quality friendships. And I'll talk about that on a further podcast. I truthfully don't have the name in front of me. But I did want to talk a little bit about this really landmark book, The Formula, and something that I think could benefit you. Definitely worth a read, or at the very least, a listen on Audible. And we'll see you on the next episode.